You are about to enter a world of dreamscapes and nightmares. A world where the surreal is real, and you will encounter things humanity was never meant to know. Prepare to have your fragile illusions of reality shattered as you cross over into the nightmare realm.
Night of the Orcus. If anyone ever invites you to go to a cemetery at midnight on Halloween to perform a seance with some friends, don't go. October used to be my favorite time of year. I used to love watching horror movies and going on haunted hayrides. Anything spooky, and I was all in. October was like horror Christmas. But that was then, and after what happened last Halloween, I think I'm pretty horrored out for good. Halloween is here again. For the first time, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm dreading it. Too many bad memories. I have been in love with my best friend's sister since we were kids. Her name is Becca Dawson. Oh, and I'm Donald Rayner, by the way. I manage a local bookstore called Mercurio's. We specialize in old rare books, but we carry a lot of newer stuff too. The owner, Anton Mercurio, is a retired professor from Fallcraft University. He's a pretty decent boss, and I like working there. Anyway, Becca and I were just friends. I had never had the balls to tell her how I felt. Well, that and Brian, my best friend. He had no clue that I had a thing for Becca, and I wanted to keep it that way, so that I could keep my best friend. Not that I necessarily thought that he'd have been mad, but why take the chance? It all started a few days before Halloween. Becca came into Mercurio's while I was straightening up.
Hey, Donald.
Hey, Becca. What's up?
I want to do something really cool for Halloween this year. And I mean, really cool.
Like what? You want to build a Frankenstein or something?
No, silly. And besides, Frankenstein was the name of the scientist, not the creature.
I love how you know that.
I learned from the best.
So, what's the plan?
I want to hold a seance at the Renaissantia Cemetery at midnight on Halloween.
But they close at 6.
Your point being?
Okay. So, how can I help?
I was hoping you might have something here in the occult section that would maybe tell us how to actually do that? Unless you know how.
Nope. I have a hard enough time talking to the living.
So, do you think you have anything?
We might. We just got a bunch of old books from an estate sale. Some really old rare editions. Feel free to check them out.
Oh, thank you. You are a lifesaver.
It didn't take long for her to find it. Almost like it wanted to be found.
Hey, Donnie. This one looks absolutely perfect.
Becca brought over a book that looked ancient. The worn, leather-bound cover showed its age. The pages were yellowed and brittle at the edges. The words were written in red ink, which made it even creepier. The oddest thing was that it had no title or author that we could find anywhere on the cover. Even inside the book, there wasn't even any publication information. It was as if someone just wrote it. A one of a kind. Not something that was ever published. Or at least not widely.
It looks really old. I flipped through the pages a little, and I think it's just what I'm looking for.
Well, I'm glad you were able to find something.
How much?
How much what?
How much for the book?
Oh, Don't worry about it. It's not even inventoried yet.
Are you sure?
Yeah, happy to help out.
Well, I really hate to shop and run, but I gotta go. I'm meeting Renee for lunch.
Well, tell her I said hi.
Will do. See you later.
And then she took the book and left. I didn't think much of it at the time, but if I had known what was going to happen because of that book, I would have burned it on the spot. After work, I grabbed some takeout tacos and went home. And just as I was about to enjoy my tacos, I was interrupted. Hey Brian, what's up?
Hey, Donnie. Are you going to this seance thing that Becca's doing?
Nah, I think I'm gonna pass on that one.
Really? I would have thought you would have been the first one to sign up.
No. Sneaking into a graveyard after hours, breaking and entering, not really something I'm into.
No, but you are into my sister.
What? Becca? No. Oh, come on.
Oh, please. You have been my best friend forever. I know you better than anyone. I've known for a long time that you have a thing for Becca.
All right, I promise you, I would never act on it. I swear.
Why not? If you two ended up getting married, we'd be actual brothers.
Wait, you'd be okay with it?
Yeah. But you may want to get off your ass if you want to have a shot in hell.
Why? What do you mean?
All right, 2 words. Richard Tillman.
Okay.
He has a thing for Becca, and when he heard about her seance thing, got himself invited. I think he's planning to make a move. So, get off your ass, brother.
Okay. So, I guess I'm in for the seance.
Good. Well, I gotta go. Renee will be here soon, and it's our 6-month anniversary, so we have some celebrating planned.
Say no more. Talk to you later. I did not like Richard Tillman. He was a smug little shit just because his family has money and owns the local mine, which employs a lot of the town. Now, if he has his sights set on Becca, my dislike has turned to abject hatred. There was no way I was letting him get Becca. I had to go to that seance, and I had to tell her how I felt about her. Halloween was only a few days later, and when the time came, I headed out to the Renacentia Cemetery to meet up with everyone. Brian and Renee were already there. They went early to make sure the coast was clear. It's not like the cemetery was open. We were totally sneaking in. This was part of the reason I was initially out. Becca was there too. She got a ride from her best friend, Tara Saunders.
Hey, Donnie.
Hey, Brian. Hi, Renee.
Hi, Donnie.
Donnie, you made it.
Becca, hi. Yeah, wouldn't miss it. You, got everything you need?
Yeah. The book said we needed some candles, herbs, and crystals, but Tara and I were able to find them at a Wiccan shop at the mall. I didn't think you were coming. What changed your mind?
Hey everyone, let's get this party started.
Will you keep it down? This place has been closed for hours, and the night guard is definitely gonna notice some noisy shit like that.
Oh, you don't have to worry about him.
What do you mean?
I stopped by here a few nights ago and had a little chat with him. It turns out his nephew works for my father at the mine, and he and his wife just had a little girl. I told him to take tonight off and lend me his key to the gate so I could pay my private respects to my grandmother. I told him if he did, I'd make sure his nephew wasn't part of the possible upcoming layoffs.
Wait, is the mine gonna be laying people off? My dad and brother both work there.
No, but he didn't know that.
Asshole.
Excuse me. Donald, right?
Right. Dick.
It's Richard.
Oh, I'm sorry. But you look more like a dick to me. And I don't work for your daddy, so I have no problem knocking you on your arrogant ass.
You just made a big mistake, Donald. Big.
Hey, it'll be midnight soon. If we're gonna do this, let's get going.
We entered the Renacentia Cemetery and walked down the main path a bit so we could be out of sight from the road. Just because Richard paid off the guard doesn't mean he could pay off the cops. At least, not for the rest of us. I'm sure Daddy would make sure his precious little boy didn't get in any trouble. We found a good spot by a few crypts and a really cool statue of Edgar Allan Poe. We followed the instructions in the book and drew a pentagram inside of a circle on the ground with salt. We placed black candles at each of the points of the star and burned the herbs in the center. And then it was time.
Okay, I need each of you to stand at one of the points of the pentagram, but make sure to stay outside of the circle.
What about you?
I need to stand apart from that circle.
Becca stepped inside of a small circle made with the crystals.
And stay inside of this one.
The rest of us took our places, and then Becca began to read from the book.
Ad orcum vocamus, audentium petimus, cum domino mortis, excite ad hunc circulum, et materiam nostrum, and gridator plenum, luce redibus ad regnum, tum mortuorum, mise forto potis, vincula tua, dissolvere, et pro anima mea socipe.
A bolt of lightning struck the herbs burning at the center of the circle, kicking up a cloud of dirt and smoke.
Becca, are you okay?
Yeah, but that lightning scared the shit out of me, though.
What did you say?
How the hell should I know? I don't speak Latin.
What? You don't even know what you summoned?
Hey, I think I see something moving in the smoke.
The smoke dissipated, and we saw what it was that we'd summoned. Just thinking about that thing sends shivers down my spine. It was huge, about 8 feet tall. Its skin was red and scaly. It had black, leathery wings and curled horns on its head like a ram. Its eyes, its dark, soulless eyes, empty black sockets, 2 black holes leading to an abyss. It grinned, showing sharp teeth in rows like that of a shark.
Who dares summon me?
Holy shit, it speaks English.
I speak all languages.
Tell us your name.
Would be so reckless as to summon me without knowing what I am? I am the Orcus. I am death. You called me from the underworld and bound me within this circle. At dawn, I will return to my realm, unless I can claim the soul of my summoner and send it back to hell in my stead.
We were foolish and reckless. We summoned, basically, death. This was bad. But then Richard went and made things so much worse.
Excuse me, Mr. Orcus, sir. My name is Richard Tillman, and my family can give you as much money as you want in exchange for immortality.
Break the circle of salt, human. Release me, and you will be rewarded.
You could see it in Richard's expression. Man, he didn't even have to think about it. He was going to sell us out without a second thought.
No!
Don't you do it,
Richard, no!
Brian and I both lunged at Richard to try and stop him, but there was no way we could get to him in time. He took his foot and broke the circle of salt.
I'm ready for my reward.
Your reward is a quick death.
Wait, what are you?
The Orcus grabbed Richard's head like a basketball, palming it with one of his massive clawed hands, and quickly twists it, snapping his neck. We scattered. Brian and Renee hid behind a crypt. Tara was making a beeline for the front gate, and Becca and I hid behind another crypt.
Maybe this wasn't such a great idea.
Gee, you think? Alright, look. If we don't make it out of here, I need to tell you something.
I need to tell you something too.
I have been head over heels in love with you since the 4th grade.
Me too. That's what I wanted to tell you.
Becca grabbed my face with her hands and kissed me. And it was amazing. The whole world just fell away and there was nothing but her. Until we heard Tara's screams. We peered around the corner of the crypt and saw the Orcus holding up Tara's severed head. Her spine was still attached and dangling. Her body lay at the grinning creature's feet.
Oh my god, Tara!
The Orcus turned and looked right at us. It dropped Tara's head and started to walk in our direction. I took Becca's hand and squeezed it tightly. We looked at each other, both of us thinking we were about to die. Then we heard Brian. That crazy bastard.
Hey, asshole. Get the hell away from my sister. I'd say pick on someone your own size, but that ain't gonna happen. So at least pick on someone closer to it.
Then he threw a rock at it. That crazy son of a bitch threw a rock at a death demon.
Fool. Are you really so eager to die?
The Orcus turned its attention to Brian and started walking towards him.
Oh my god, Donnie, we have to do something.
Wait, where's Renee? As if in answer to my question, I heard the horn of Brian's truck. Renee was at the wheel and was headed right for the Orcus. She plowed right into the creature, pinning it against the crypt as the truck crashed to a halt. Brian ran to the truck to help her. She was a little stunned from the impact, but Brian got her out.
Come on. I have a feeling that won't buy us a lot of time.
Yeah. I have a feeling you're right.
Becca, I have an idea. Do you trust me?
Of course.
All right, the book had you standing inside of a circle made with those crystals, right?
Yeah, so?
Maybe that's where you're safe. Like a backup in case it gets out of the circle.
You know, that actually makes a lot of sense. And I don't have any better ideas.
If we do nothing, we're dead.
that circle won't be big enough for all four of us. The two of us maybe, but
It's okay. I've got this. Brian! I have a plan, but we need you and Renee to get out of the cemetery. Right now. Brian and I have known each other for as long as I can remember. He looked me in the eye, took Renee's hand, nodded, and the two of them ran towards the gate.
okay. Let's do this.
Becca and I sprinted to the circle of crystals, which looked completely undisturbed. We stepped inside. There wasn't a lot of room, and we had to embrace in order to fit. The Orcus pushed the truck off of itself and stood up. It stretched out its wings, which looked leathery and had what looked like talons on the tops of them. It looked around, surveying the area. Thank God Brian and Renee got away. It saw us, standing inside of the crystal circle, and you could see the anger in its face.
It really looks pissed.
I hope that means we were right.
I hope so too.
The Orcus slowly started to walk towards us. We squeezed each other tightly, both of us trying to give and get comfort from the embrace.
It took an ancient death demon to get us to finally tell each other how we feel.
Fear of your brother's reaction did it for me.
Yeah, same here.
The Orcus stood before us, glaring at us. It raised one of its clawed hands. I looked Becca in the eye as the beast swiped down at us. I love you.
I love you too.
We both closed our eyes, squeezed each other tightly, and braced for the end. But the end didn't come. The Orcus's arm hit an unseen barrier. I was right. We were safe. Well, as safe as we could be under the circumstances.
Holy shit, we're alive.
We just need to stay in this circle until dawn, and we'll be okay.
Well, there's nobody else I'd rather spend the next 6 hours stuck in a crystal circle with.
Same. And that's what we did. We stayed in that circle for nearly 6 hours. The whole time, the Orcus circled us, waiting for us to falter, even for a second. But we didn't. We kept each other standing. We kept each other alive. As dawn finally came and the sun started to rise, the Orcus scowled in anger.
My time on your material plane has come to an end. You win. For now.
The Orcus began to fade, like a dimming light, slowly losing his corporeal form.
We made it. I can't believe it. We made it.
I smiled at Becca, and she smiled back at me. We hesitantly stepped out of the circle, but the night was over. We were safe. Becca and I have been together ever since. In fact, we even moved in together after about 5 months. Brian and Renee did make it out of the cemetery alive. They went to the police and said they were carjacked by some drifter. That way they could explain how Brian's truck got to the cemetery and give themselves one hell of an alibi, as the cops could see they were obviously shaken up and never doubted their story. The Tillman family went on a holy crusade to find whoever was responsible for Richard's death. They offered a small fortune in exchange for answers, but they never got any. The deaths of Richard Tillman and Tara Saunders were never solved, with the lead suspect being an unidentified drifter. Like I said before, Halloween has come again. Becca and I are going to dinner with Brian and Renee. We all thought about going to the cemetery to pay our respects to Tara, but it's still too soon to go back there. And ever since that night, it's like the cemetery has a darker aura. It's just not right. Well, I need to go. Becca is ready to head out. But just one last word of caution for this Halloween season. Don't mess with things you don't understand.
I hope you've enjoyed your journey into the Nightmare Realm. Congratulations. You've returned to the safety of the real world. Haven't you?